Hello, gobs, and welcome back to another episode. I am the Goblin King. I review, talk about, play both video game RPGs and tabletop RPGs. Speaking of talking about tabletop RPGs, I am reading RPG horror stories today. We are going to go on to the subreddit, find some stories, then I'm going to give my opinion about them, maybe halfway through, maybe at the end, who knows. But I will be giving advice. And if there's something you don't agree with me, or there's something you would have done different, then let me know in the comments below, okay, as always. And if you have your own RPG horror stories, you can type them in the comments, you can post them on my subreddit, or if you really want to, you can go ahead and email them. It's all in the description below, and that's it. I have nothing else to say. We're just gonna get into these. It's TTRPG horror stories. You already know what it is. Let's just get into it. Because our first story is coming from Original Boyo 1. I think that's how it is. Not safe for work. The Legends of Eugene, a tale of determination and depravity. SA warning. Marked as NSFW and SA warning just in case. TWs for the story, unwedded sexual behavior, as well as mentions of SA bestiality. Oh no. This story was worse than I originally thought it was. The cast. OP, myself, played a gnome warlock, and was the owner of the group's Discord server. Ken, one of my best friends, played a tiefling rogue, ? I guess you didn't know if they were a rogue or not. Alex, Ken's, at the time, boyfriend and another one of the friends, was the DM for the second campaign of the group. Eugene, today's subject. I can't even remember what he played, but I want to say Ranger, others, plenty of great guys and gals who were just not as relevant to the story or played minor parts. I met Eugene in a college D&D group, high school for you Yanks, and from the moment I first saw him, I had red flags. Picture your standard weeb, every fedora stereotype in the book, every characteristic you imagine when you hear the phrase, my lady, that's Eugene. Those Reeboo's Magani glasses? I think I said that right. Correct me in the comments. I don't know that word, but maybe it's just a misspelling or something. I don't know. The greasy curly hair and the all-encompassing black fedora. He was infamous around the college, giving him the title Fedora Kid. There were several rumors about him too, the most notorious of which being how he allegedly Shane Dawson's the Compass's cat. If you know, you know. Nonetheless, he had joined the D&D group, and now I had to interact with him every gosh darn week. During the first campaign we did together, he would constantly interrupt the DM to make his puns, as he would call them. Eugene's definition of a pun being a horrific Frankenstein of pop culture references stitched together to create a barely coherent sentence like he was some acne-ridden Deadpool. It was either puns or gross sexual behavior. I remember one time the party got into trouble with the mob, and as a result, we ended up selling one of the party members' legs. Eugene thought it would be funny to, while watching this man's leg get amputated, say, "It's okay, I could put something in your mouth to stop you from screaming." Then, just to really kill any subtlety or innuendo that phrase could have had, he began to hump the table and start moving. Now, I just so happened to sit next to Eugene while he was doing this, not by choice. So, I punched him in the heart and told him to shut up, which he did. I wanted to kick him out. I wanted to never see him around that table again. But apparently, no one was willing to say anything. Fine. More Eugene. Okay, guys, talk it out. Obviously, this person was making people extremely uncomfortable, not including OP. I'm sure everyone at the table was having no problems, but no one wanted to say anything. So remember, sometimes all it takes is one person to say something, and then everyone else will sort of, if they have problems, speak up about it. I hope they speak up about it. If not, message everyone into the group after the session, not including him, message what other people think, and you don't even have to be direct about it. You could be subtle, right? But anyways, just see how people are feeling, and then if enough people are feeling the same way, then get together and just kick the guy out, or just leave. Okay, better to have no bad experiences in a tabletop than to sit through an awful experience. Surely, you may be thinking, or not, I don't know, surely Eugene can't get any worse than that. To which I say, nay, dear reader, Eugene is persistent. Eugene is determined. Eugene is, well, he can't take a hint to save his life. Fast forward a few months, Campaign 1 has ended and I have left the group to focus on assignments. Alex takes over as the DM and Eugene is still there. Now Alex can handle himself quite well. Abrasive is a good word for it, but he has a kind heart if you're one of his friends. Eugene was not one of Alex's friends. I get out of class one day to a message from Ken asking me if I can kick Eugene out of the Discord server. Curiosity gets the better of me, so I decide to read through the chat. All I really managed to get from there is that Eugene had said something stupid. Surprise, surprise. And was actually kicked out of the group this time. I went over to the D&D room and managed to catch Alex on his way out. He gives me the rough details and then Ken rang me a while later to give me the full story. The party found themselves in a small village. While they explored, they met a young girl who was secretly a mimic, John Carpenter's The Thing style. The girl was described as being around 8 years old. As soon as Alex had finished his description, Eugene decided to pipe up with his action. The following is not paraphrasing, it is not hyperbole, it is simplification. Eugene looked Alex dead in the eyes and word for word said, "I'm not reading that. My mouth should not be charged by those phrases. I am not going to read that. With prior context, you should know what has happened." What followed was an eruption of the entire table screaming at him. Alex told him, Eugene, to leave, to which he refused. He tried to backtrack and retract his statement up until the moment Alex killed Eugene's character in a single lightning strike. Eugene then took to the Discord and explained his actions while the elegance of a toddler mumbling, "Sorry." All his messages really boiled down to was, "Guys, I'm not a pet, I just have ADHD." And he just could not grasp the concept of being kicked from the group. His last message to the server was as follows: "For now, I'm out. If you want to DM me, go ahead. I'm just gonna take a break from D&D until further notice. Adios." He then left the server. His final transmission came from the college's Microsoft teams giving a notice of absence to the D&D club because of his involvement in a drama incident. Thus ended the legend of Eugene, the creep who wouldn't quit. Now, guys, where can I even begin? First of all, like I said in the beginning, if you're seeing that many red flags, talk about it with the group before you invite them into the club. And I would like to say, I forgot to mention this, but these stories may or may not be real, okay? Even if they are fake, they still make, I don't want to say this was entertaining. Not with that whole last section, but they make good stories to give advice on. And if someone is acting like this, especially in that first section, yeah, kick them. Especially in the second one, yeah, they kicked them. Yeah, that's what you do. Someone's being like that, don't try to talk them out, especially, if they're trying to do stuff like this and blame it on ADHD of all things. Of all things to blame it on, you pick ADHD. There's nothing you can blame it on, just don't be a creep. Don't be a ped. That's simple. I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to say, but if someone's acting like this, kick them from the group. Even if they are like the DM or something, just leave the group, kick them from the group. Let the other players know that you're uncomfortable. Talk it out with everybody else. Always let them know. And then if no one does anything, just leave. You don't deserve to be in a crappy group. Again, like I always say, this is your free time to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then get out of there, because you are just wasting your free time getting bad experiences. So hopefully Eugene got arrested. Moving on to our next story. Our next story comes from Sparky N. The M decides to mute people. Okay, so this happened a few years ago, and sorry if this is long, but I was dating this guy at the time, and he played D&D. I was new to D&D, as was the rest of our friend group, and he wanted to run a campaign with us all. I was super excited because I had wanted to get into D&D, and just hadn't had a chance yet. Well, the problem started when we were making our characters. I was first to make a character, and since I had it done before, I was kind of just going with whatever options he was giving me. Well, he kept trying to control weird aspects of my character, like he'd give me 5 choices, but would get upset if I picked one he didn't want, or that he didn't like. But whatever, I just wanted to play. Well, the rest of the group made their characters, all kind of complaining about the same issues, but whatever, right? All 6 of us end up in a Discord call on the server he made, and we start the campaign, all excited and discussing what to do. Unfortunately, it quickly became apparent that we weren't going to be able to make many choices. We had gotten to a stray chicken, and so we all talked and decided we wanted to kill it and take it with us, cause why not? DM immediately told us, no, we can't do that. One player asked why not, and he says, cause I said so. We kind of tell him what, and it turns into a discussion. DM got peeved off and completely muted the entire group, then proceeded to continue on like nothing happened. I was so confused, but decided to keep playing because I thought it was like a one-time thing. Nope, it happened 3 other times in 30 minutes, where he wouldn't let us do something or make any choices. We would question it, and he would mute us. The final straw was when he did it again, and we all told him if he muted us, we would leave. I had told him this was confusing and weren't we supposed to make decisions? He goes quiet, then leaves the call and refused to speak to any of us, complaining we ruined his campaign. We never returned to that campaign and never tried to run another one. It was wild. That was a short and sweet one. It's definitely a lot better than the previous one we had. This one was simply miscommunication. You know, you got some new players. You got a DM who really wants to run the setting. The DM should have done, I'm assuming there was no session 0, should have done a session 0. The DM just describes what he wanted to do with his campaign to the players. And if that's something the players want, then the players can agree to be in it. But it doesn't seem like any of this was here. The DM just kind of expected them to go along with it. And it turns out they didn't want to. So as a DM, make sure you let your players know, do your session 0s and let your players know what type of campaign you will be running. That's simple. If you want a more story-driven, linear, I guess you want to say, because I think most D&D things are non-linear, players get to make choices, but if you want to run a more linear, direct, not a lot of choices made, it can work, and there are people who like to play in those type of campaigns, so make sure you just let your players know before you start, and see if they want to play in something like that. That's about all there is to it. There's not really much else you can do. Like what? Talk it out. They didn't like it, so they just left. That's what you want to do in this situation. If you're on the Discord server. Of course, Dopey did know them in real life, so that could affect them. Regardless, even if you know them in real life, sometimes some people are just horrible at TTRPGs, but are still really good friends. TTRPGs, after all, are just a hobby. So not all hobbies are going to line up, even if it's your best friend. Which, yeah, I can see it. There's stuff my friends like that I don't like, and there's stuff that I like that my friends don't like. We're still friends. We just don't do those hobbies together. That's my advice for the story. Let's get to our last story, and hopefully this next story isn't as bad as that first. That first one is a wild one to start off on, and let's just get into it. Our final story comes from Reasonable Method 145. I joined a DM's emotional support group. TLDR. I joined a campaign where the DM PCs do everything, and the player's role is to praise them and help them through depression. I met David at a friend's birthday party. Our group is full of RPG enthusiasts, so we immediately bond over our shared D&D and Pathfinder love. After some time, David invited me to his Pathfinder 1st Edition campaign, weekly IRL sessions with a stable party that has been adventuring for over a year. I'm sold. We get on a voice call and David briefly describes his homebrew setting and character creation rules. Our characters are part of an elite of super powerful heroes trying to save the world from a war between angels and demons. It's very cliche, but David assures me it's roleplay heavy and filled with deep character moments. We come up with a fitting background for my hero, fill the sheet, and I'm good to go. A week later, I joined a group for my first session. When I arrived, only David and another player, Alex, were present. I asked David if he would give me a recap of the campaign so far, so I could catch up while we waited for the others. David seemed reluctant at first, weird, but then he asked Alex to get me up to speed. Alex gave me what I can only describe as the longest list of NPCs I have ever heard in a campaign. He told me about the 11 kingdoms of this world, each ruled by a family composed of 6 to 10 NPCs with reality-bending powers. He described who they were, what their abilities do, the relationships between them, their achievements, etc. Sometimes David intervened to remind Alex that there's also this other guy who's extremely relevant to the lore and can manipulate time or something. About 15 minutes in, I had jotted down more than 30 NPCs, and we still hadn't gotten to the player's character story. Meanwhile, everyone has arrived, and I asked Alex to wrap the lore up and get to campaign plot before session begins. Alex looked at me confused. What do you mean? This is the campaign plot. I froze. Huh? The player explained to me that everything in a campaign is done by NPCs. Problems are solved by NPCs, battles are won by NPCs. The main quest is about helping NPCs do NPC stuff to defeat other NPCs. I turned to David and asked why the NPCs are doing everything in this game. David smiled and replied, because they are level 20 characters with very powerful abilities. He said it like he was very proud of that. But why can't the players do things on their own? Because the enemies are also level 20 characters with very powerful abilities. You'll all die if you try to face them alone. Aren't we in the lead of super powerful heroes? You just joined. You have to get there. Then what the heck is our role in the campaign? You have to help the NPCs. They can't do it alone. Your support is extremely important. I asked to give me an example. Alex explained that in the last story arc, the party followed a rebellious demon prince trying to kill his evil demon king father. The demon prince was extremely powerful and capable of defeating entire armies by himself, except that, well, he had depression. So sometimes he would get very sad and lose all his powers, and the players would compliment him and remind him of the great hero he is to get him back into shape. Thanks to this, he was able to endure his emotions, defeat the evil king, and become the ruler he was destined to be. Every other story arc was a variation of this concept. I decided to play this one session and see for myself. The party met my character on the way to a village rumored to be under attack by a corrupted angel. We arrive and the angel is on a rampage killing everyone. I draw my sword, only for the angel to immediately drop me to 1 HP. No roll and no save. I'm then informed that it is the angel of darkness, and it can only be stopped by talking. He'll instantly kill us all if we dare to fight him. I watched David spend 1 hour role-playing this twisted angel, weeping about how no one comprehends him and he just wants to be accepted. With the party saying stuff like, "No, you're better than this, you can do it," and "We love you the same, even if you're not perfect." David gleefully took the kind words and narrated the angel calming down, thanking the party, and letting them go. We were 2 hours into the session, and no dice had been rolled so far. I left early, told David this wasn't my cup of tea, and I never looked back. What the flip? Wow, you telling me that an entire party has been doing this same thing for over a year? Like, I can get it if it's, I guess it's like a one session thing, but then the rest of the campaign is like that. But from the sounds of it, not with 30 plus NPCs that are all vital. You can have a story where you have that many NPCs that are vital to the plot. But if you have to sit down and vicariously, is that the word? You have to sit down and explain everything that the NPCs have done up to this point to beat a campaign. No, I don't think it's going to be a very fun campaign to play in. And the whole, they're all level 20, fighting against level 20s. Exactly. The person was like, what are they supposed to do? They're level 20 people. Oh no, they have to deal with their emotions. Oh no, you're level 20. Get over it. I don't know. When you get to that point, the campaign should be near its end. I don't think there's much to do after you reach level 20. Like, you hit level 20, and then you have the rest of the campaign, and then you just close it up and start a new campaign. That's simple. And that's what it should have happened here. But I guess the party's not level 20. It was everybody around them that was level 20. But then again, that doesn't sound like a fun campaign to play in. But yeah, bonding over D&D and Pathfinder just to find out they're not really playing TTRPGs the way you're supposed to. I guess there's no real way to play it. If the other players are having fun and agree to it, then more power to them. I just think it wouldn't be very fun. Much similar to OP. So I think they are very valid in leaving. At least they gave them a session, you know, instead of like hearing that and then they just leave. At least they gave it a session. If anything, at least try it for a session, unless the red flags are just that blaring. But that's it. Remember, session zeros are very important to talk about, that, which they should have done here if you're introducing a new person into your campaign. I'm not saying you have to do like a full-on, like the next time your group gets together, you have to do session 0 with just one person. Just find some time outside of the game to get together and talk about their character and the campaign so far, and then that way, after session 0, they have time to reflect on it if they want to keep playing in that campaign. But anyways, that is it. That is all the advice I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed my reading of these stories. If you do, go ahead, leave a like to let me know that you enjoyed this goblin. Woo. Subscribe for for more stories and other RPG stuff. I do play RPGs on the channel. If I'm doing all sorts of stuff, I'm not RPG horror stories only, even though they're the most popular thing. I do all sorts of TTRPG stuff. I do it all because I want variety on my channel. I don't want to read RPG horror stories every single week. I do like them. I do like reading them. I do like editing the videos. They're very fun to me. But I like to do other stuff, okay? I got like making Pathfinder character. I got some goblin rants, so go check those out, okay? And that's it. I'm out of here. Social media's in the description. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I hope you gobs have a lot of a day. May your adventures... That was kind of fast. May your adventures be free from horrible